Welcome back to your moon vibes. This is for the Gemini full moon for Sagittarius season 2024, December 2024. I have one of my kitties on my lap, so I'll just be making sure she's okay while we continue. Before we get started, all information to work with me is below. My website, payment options, different places that I also put out information. So check it out there. And as we get into it, I'm going to talk to you about, before we go all the way in, we're going to talk about a little bit about the metaphysics of the body parts that these signs pertain to, as that is a new segment that I have started and that I used, but I don't always verbalize. So the moon always rules the stomach, the chest, and the breasts. The vulnerable, nurturing parts of us. So those parts of us can be more vulnerable around this time, which is a lot involved there. But so if you think about the chest, the breasts, this is the tender area. This is what protects the heart, right? This is front facing, which is why it's vulnerable. And then your stomach is like what you're able to stomach. You know, what maybe has been weighing on these areas of yourself. Because when you're tight here and this closes down, this closes down. When you have too much on your shoulders, you're carrying too much emotion on your shoulders, this can carry down and you can start to be closed-hearted. So it's about opening up the heart. Even though we're not talking about the heart, it's still all connected. And then you have Gemini, which rules over the lungs and the hands, the extremities that help you do all the things that you need to do. And that's why during Mercury retrograde, because Mercury rules over Gemini, which rules over the hands, the nervous system, the arms, you need to be more attention, pay more attention to those areas and those extremities, because things are moving faster, and even things that you are normally able to do in a fast pace or without thinking about it, you may have to think about it. You may have to adjust in a way, especially to do in the Gemini areas of your chart right now. Then we have Mercury going direct in Sagittarius. So that's like hips and thighs is the power of moving forward. But we're going to talk more about the Gemini and the Mercury related aspects to it. So Gemini rules the hands and the lungs. The lungs hold the grief. So for anyone out there who needs to take a deep breath, who needs to grieve, who is grieving, I would say we're all grieving to an extent. Maybe who you've been, maybe a literal person, maybe who that person was in your life. Cat hair. All of those different connections. How are you breathing? Do you need to breathe more open into the body and into the chest and into the front side of the body? Do you need to allow yourself to relax your shoulders and not just have them weighing on you, actually have them sturdy on your back, right? Your arms, how are your arms feeling? What are you reaching for? Right? What are you surpassing? Where are you overstimulated? Where are you not stimulated enough? Gemini things. Where are you taking in? Where do you need to expand your lungs, expand yourself, your mind, Mercury? And where do you need to let go of? What are you creating? What are you holding back? All of those different kinds of questions are to be taken into account at this time for the nervous system to come and settle. So if your nervous system gets thrown off, it's learning how to regulate yourself, maybe through your breath. Maybe there's some things you haven't experienced yet, or you haven't allowed you haven't allowed yourself to experience yet. And the only way to go through an experience is to feel the experience, to trust your body's capacity to heal in ways that you haven't, to be surprised by it. There might be something that you get off of your chest as well that allows this space to feel more open. You feel less tired. right? There's a lot that's been brought up in the past few weeks, especially this past week, right? So Aries, this is happening in your third house. Let's get started on the signs. Your third house, and that was also very much the minimal, simple ways of explaining the metaphysics. So I'll do a video where I get a little bit more in depth into the questions as well. That'll be a short. So Aries, the third house is communication. It's how you live your day-to-day. It's the people closest to you or even your siblings. This is where the full moon is present in your life for Aries risings, but obviously sun, moon, if you feel so called to. Page of Cups. Opportunities to express, opportunities to do something that feels important to you, opportunities that you didn't know of are coming your way. Love, money, passion, desire. It turns out, 5 of Cups on the bottom, this is what's going to be the antidote for your grieving, is to create, is to allow opportunity, different ones to come in, to allow love, to allow space for this kind of healing. Even for some of you, this may be facing your grief in a compassionate way. Learning to communicate what you've held on to. There's an opportunity here. There's an opening. At the end of the month, Chiron goes direct in your sign. This makes sense. This is preparing you. Gemini will often prepare you for something that's farther away. Doesn't seem, it's not that far away, but it's farther away than it is the Gemini full moon, which is tomorrow, and I'll be putting out the night before. But you giving space and awareness and compassion and opportunity to the parts of you that are no longer, to the parts of your life that are no longer, to the changes that are happening. And not about confronting them, Aries, but like just learning to face them for what they were, for what you were, for what you are now. To integrate. Hey, there you are. To digest your experiences, to give your body a rest so that your mind can have the break it needs to feel its full power and potential. To feel like more of yourself maybe than you felt in a while. Okay, Aries. Communication is key in how you communicate it, especially if it's to someone else. But if it's for yourself, you may need to do it because you're preparing maybe to be there for others in a way, which is, you know, that's the life of connection. 8 of Cups and 8 of Swords just fell down, so we're gonna use it, Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 8 of Cups, 8 of Swords fell out on the bottom, so we're gonna use it. The way out is out. Is out. You've been paying attention to this for a while in many areas, but now you're finally at the point where you want to maybe go off on your own. For those of you that are in, if this is about a job, this is for your second house. Taurus risings, by the way. So that is your skills, your talents, your resources, your assets, your ability to express and communicate, which is interesting because it's Gemini, right? To communicate this to the world. The house is ruled by Taurus because naturally it's Taurus, but because it's Gemini for you, it's ruled by Mercury, which this full moon will show you how you're so ready that you realize that only thing that you've been held back from at this point, and now you're going to see it because you're moving away, is away from what's kept you emotionally tied to any experience. And there's nothing wrong with feeling that. There's nothing wrong with understanding what that feels like. But there's a part of you that needs to allow yourself to do and be something on your own. If you're with someone, you're a partner, if you're a mother or a parent, That's another title, job, whatever that is. This is about being you, independent from all the other yous. This is about being who you are regardless of where you've been. Maybe you've been holding back skill, you've been holding back talent, and now you need to let go of any ways in which you're attached emotionally and actually express. Because that's what's going to free you. Maybe creates a tower moment. This is going to free you. The emotional and then the mental. You emotionally move on, then you realize it's been in your head. It's been protecting you. But now you don't need to be protected from yourself. Now you need to express who you are. To be free from, you still are those things, but to be free from the emotional bearing of it all, right? That's what you're moving into. And it's important to remember how capable you are during this time. Sorry, my kitty is like shivering. Oh, pay attention to where you feel cold. Where you feel cold and closed off. This is going to help warm this up. Reveal this. Reveal what you couldn't see. It's going to be communicated right to you. You don't have to go anywhere. It's not about going anywhere, right? It's about standing in yourself. Moving on from anything that held you back, anything that kept you, anyone or anything or any emotional ties, right? Not like you have to move away from, maybe a person you have to move away from, but if it's not that, it's just about realizing that a lot of other things that have been going on in your head kept you here. And now you're on perhaps the adventure of a lifetime. All right, Taurus. Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising. Gemini Rising, this is your first house. This is a lot of cards, Gemini. So, see what I mean? That Eight of Cups. We're just going to reshuffle because that was a lot of cards. This is in your first house, like I said before. I think we got a few less. Six of Wands, Three of Wands, High Priestess, the Strength, and, okay, this is enough cards. You need to honor your path. You need to honor your intuition, and it's going to take a lot of strength. It will require you to stand your ground, know where you're going, regardless of what anyone else says. Even if people are coming with you, you need to think about yourself. You're being guided in that direction. And you need also support. You need to support yourself spiritually. So if you need to be grounded spiritually, what do you need to do? Right? Because this is a whole change. Change of heart. Change of reality. You acknowledging what you already have. You healing through your psyche. There could be a Leo in your life, or even another Gemini who is very important to you at this time, or someone who's just very grounded and real with their worth, their love, their compassion, with their sense of self. You now are so clear. This is bringing you so much clarity on the vision, your vision, where you want to go, what you see for yourself moving forward, and the strength you're going to need, and the money. So don't be afraid to make and generate more money, because especially if you need it for this goal or this dream, this desire, this, situation, now is the time to claim it, ask for it, and then do what you need to do to get prepared for when it comes. It might come quicker than you realize too. Probably preparing you for when Jupiter goes direct in February. All right, Cancer. 12th house, Cancer. 12th house. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. 12th house for Cancer Rising. Let's see what we got for you. You may have some words for what's had power over you. You may be revealed to it. This could also be a father figure whom you have some shit to say to. This is about your value and what you provide. And it's about being clear. The power in your voice and what you can do with that voice, but also where you've been controlled and where you haven't allowed yourself to express in other areas, and where that comes across in how you say what you choose to say. You may, in order to break free from some kind of control too, you may need to speak up about it for some of you. If this is about a Capricorn, you got some things to say to this Capricorn, Cancer rising, Capricorn being your 7th house. There's communication that needs to be had. This, both Pluto cards too. So 7th and 8th house things already in action. You may feel like you have transformed and there's just something you need to speak about it. Yeah. All right, Cancer. Leo. Leo rising's 11th house. This can be for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising though. '11th house is your community. Good fortune. I was just about to say Ace of Pentacles fell out for you, Leo. Raw potential. Raw energy, raw power, a journey ahead. This Ace of Pentacles says yes, and there's a journey ahead. Mars in retrograde in your sign brings you to this awareness of the vastness that abundance is, and your life is, and how worth it will be. This journey is. Ooh. Because more than anything, it brings emotional security, stability. You may feel more loved or more able to express and shift how you experience love in an action way. This may provide more room and space for that to grow, and you feel the abundance and you feel like things are just happening. All of a sudden, life is moving. Shit's opening up because you said yes to something. Because you've allowed yourself to receive even more. Because whatever you've realized about how your heart operates and how you operate, you can choose, and you feel the power in that in each moment, depending on how you decide to respond or react is, I have a kitty in my lap, just so you know, if you didn't listen to the beginning. Just want to make sure she's okay. That there is so much power here, and it's time that you give that energy to this, like it's a child. Or how you would, because you're really good at this, how you would explain to a child the way it should be done, or supposed to be done, or the steps. Then you just give it to yourself. That's it. All right. Expansion, right? It has to start somewhere. And you may receive opportunities through your community that you're in as well. So just be open to what's being communicated around you. Okay, Virgo, 10th house, career, and your role, your public role. Okay. Gemini, full moon asks you if you're going to decide to hold back, or if you're going to realize that it's on you to make something happen. You know that, but it's how you're doing it. Are you still holding back? Are you still not recognizing what needs to be shifted? Are you losing yourself in your work? Are you adding your value to your work? Are you adding what you learn into the space where you create and work? You're going to start to notice the shifting of that the more that you uncover what you've been protecting, because through this creation, through this, it helps you focus on what's actually important to you, even if that evolves every coin that he creates, builds. And also the other thing could be is, are you creating to protect yourself? You know, what it is that, Gemini, Virgo, very mercurial, also very money numbered. You are very creative as well, but those are the signs where numbers are a thing. They could be positive, they could have negative feelings, whatever you feel. Is you can no longer protect yourself from what's supposed to happen. And if this is about money, adding value takes repetition, right? If what you've been creating has been helping you, what you've been exposed to has helping you create, you are now seeing the responsibility it takes, and that with that responsibility, it takes up so much room that you can't protect yourself from yourself anymore. You may decide at this time that you need to start to realize what's important to you and how you want to have that be more of your career path, that maybe you've been hiding behind a lot of potential, a lot of creative power. And if you looked up for a moment, you'd realize that you have options. So if you feel like you don't have options, you do. You just have to be willing to know what it feels like to look up from where you are, even if that feels weird and uncomfortable. Okay. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. For rising, this is your 9th house of education, religion, travel, astrology, philosophy. And the full moon is entering that sign, or that house, I'm sorry. Mercury goes direct. You have a lot on your table. You have a lot you've been thinking about, especially magic, perhaps, and the magic of it all, where it ties together. This is also a sign to sharpen your skills. Gemini, also sharpen your skills, sharpen your trade, bring them together. This is also a time where you realize what you can no longer hold on to if you want to bring together what you need to. This is the alchemization of this is showing you that you can't be stubborn about what you hold on to, especially if this is what you are looking to go towards. it's like you need to give this up or allow this to relax a little in that area in order for that to you to get to the 10. This is also that's the nervous system change about your work and your values. If that's shifting and you're opening up to more, if you don't know what that feels like internally in your body and your nervous system, it's time to be in that space, create that space for yourself. Give yourself that care that you need to develop and realize that it's safe now to move forward, to teach yourself that it's safe. Only you can teach yourself that. And what you could reach for if you weren't holding on to that, or because in some way or form you're reaching for it, you're grasping it, you're holding on to something that ultimately has to alchemize, it has to change. And for some of you may feel like you've been deceived, but you haven't. Not everyone works the same. And it's also going to shift the way you think of things, and it's going to sharpen your mind and the way that you think about life. And the communication skills that you already have. You may want to also publish something or write something at this time, and I highly recommend it. That may help your nervous system. Art, writing, art, whatever it is, Libra. Whatever it is, go do it. Feel through it, heal through it. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Scorpio rising, this is your 8th house. 8th house. Mental health, dental health, other people's resources, even how certain things played out for you. And now that's going to make me go in this direction. If you're experiencing a change in the mother or your foundations that ultimately lead to your purpose, now this is the ruler, or this is the card for Cancer, which is the moon, which is that front part of the body. He wears armor to protect himself. Think about the crab. That's armor, protecting itself. You may now be in a space where you feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Be vulnerable about your foundations and about what the drive that you have to move forward, Scorpio. This is about experiencing a healing through your own intuition, through what carries you forward, through your energy, your passion, and your drive to create maybe a different kind of home as well, not just for your physical self, but your well-being, the home within you. You may also find that your resources become very stable also at this time, while you're also discovering your sense of purpose and giving to others, and also how much you care about the vulnerability and where that meets you being seen, and your intimate relationships and how that relates to certain parts of you that you keep at a distance because you know where it can go. But for your mind this month, you need to start to focus that energy on creating that safe foundation if you haven't already. Regardless of what anyone else sees, it's about you maybe taking an outside view of yourself and being very vulnerable about what's needed to be as strong as possible. That vulnerability actually is strength. Hiding takes more work. So there's a connection happening, especially too. I do think it has to do with your mother wound. So if you can take a bird's eye view to that, or ask for that kind of healing and see what comes up, I'm sure that you'll have some kind of realization around that, Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising, 7th house, committed partnerships. Interesting. King of Cups and the Devil. One-on-one relationships, deeper intimacy. This can be a secure attachment. There could be also a Capricorn in your life where you feel very secure around. Either way, this is about feeling very in control. While also realizing that no matter what comes up for you, your emotional well-being is about and connected to your physical environment, your material growth, what you're attached to. So although for some of you this may be a very secure attachment, for others of you this is about your emotional growth with your attachments, with your areas where you feel control. Also could be with a father wound. You could be experiencing growth in this area of your life that may be coming from how you feel about what you've created for yourself. Perhaps the independence that you've created, but this is just this, it's like solidifying this deep sense of strength. That for whatever comes up, you can deal with that. You have changed, and you can feel it. You can feel it, and you know it, and now you're owning it. And it's possible that you need to feel unattached to how that Capricorn feels about you. That could be a part of the healing as well, or how that father figure, devil figure, how the weight that you put on your surroundings as well for some of you who are not there yet. All right, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Capricorn Rising, 6th house, work, health, pets. All right. The Hierophant in 6th house. Your work right now is communicating to you that you are to be grounded within your spirituality. Whatever you're learning spiritually is coming from your workplace, from your health, being diligent and disciplined, knowing that you need something in order to be more efficient, more clear, more aligned with what you say, do, and act, to be more in control. You must go through this moment where you feel out of control, perhaps. You may be communicated something that tests you, because this is about spiritual material, and also being unafraid to express yourself. Taurus is the throat. So there's something that maybe you've been thinking about, mulling over, and you can no longer keep it in. Now it needs to be expressed. And that kind of growth is only going to bring you closer to what it is that you are, where you're going with your work. And you may not realize that whatever you've been holding in has to do with your health and may make your health better. Even if that means that you haven't been honest about how you've been feeling, and just being honest about it, just opening up about it, just trusting that whatever you're saying, whatever you're saying, and however that's been aligning with you, with your beliefs especially. That's the word I was looking for your beliefs. Your belief system correlates with your health and work. So that's all coming up to align and make sense of at this time. Okay. Aquarius, 5th house. You pleasure, romance, children, creativity, all creationals. Hey, sweetie. I got one of my kitties on my lap. You okay? Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising. Aquarius rising's 5th house. 10 of Cups. This full moon is providing you the energy and ability to emotionally feel what fulfillment is for you and decide what that is for you. This is a time where you feel maybe fulfilled in those areas, and now it's feeling like you can really communicate that through your life, not just through what you say, what you do, and what you create. It's about all of it coming together and creating this life for yourself where you feel a greater enjoyment. And what that means to you. Gemini might ask you, where are you not doing this? Where are you and where are you not feeling this? And how you can become more sure and feel and put more energy, your time, so your mind, your mental, emotional, physical energy into providing what a fulfilled life looks like for you. Because you may have been thinking about all these different things, but what you may realize, it's about your lifestyle, Aquarius. Okay. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Pisces rising, this is the 4th house. Notice I have to take deep breaths after every single one of these. 4th house is your foundations, your caregivers, that role. You may be needing to, you may be coming to like, you may have been digesting for a while now, and now everything's coming full circle in your mind. For some of you, up until now, you felt almost like inactive, passive. You felt maybe more passive at this time. It's really just that this time has brought up for you how you would like to maneuver in your life. How you'd like to move, meaning like how would you like to move through your life day to day? Like, what does your nervous system feel like? Are you always on edge? Are you relaxed? Do you know how to relax in your mind? Can you give yourself that space to, even just a few minutes a day, to sit with yourself, just to see where you're at, regardless of who's, because remember in your reading we talked about like your energy and who you're around and how you absorb it. It's like that. It's like, where are you at now? This is the assessment. What have you digested? What have you integrated, right? What haven't you? That's just things to take notice of. It doesn't need, we don't need to force this at all, of course. But also this could be about a Virgo in your life that you have yet to share some news with, which ultimately will be for the best for you. But it can feel really hard to say. It's probably just because you haven't expressed it at all, so you're afraid because you maybe held something in. But it's just, you may have been very unaware of this feeling in your body, this feeling in your mind, and it's become heavy on your mind at this point for some of you, and it's time to decide where to go from here. And Gemini full moon will help you move from here if you let it. Especially if you've needed to release a lot. Body can hold a lot of tension, and then it ends up also in the mind if you don't allow yourself that space from time to time. Okay? A lot's going on, but when you get still, what is important to you? When you get centered with yourself, what's important to you? And what stops you in times when you know you need to do what's important for you, right? Okay. Alrighty. That was for your Gemini full moon intuitive readings. If they don't feel finished, it's because we're right smack in the middle of the month, and that's what happens. And they're just intuitive pulls that don't always need to come together. But if you're looking for your full readings, just go to my channel and you'll find your full reading for the season of Sagittarius, and then Capricorn will be next. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. We'll see you on the next one.